Hi guys! So today, it's really warm in here. Let me just crack a window open. It's better. So a lot of people say to me like, oh, can you paint a wave? Can you do a wave tutorial? I want to like watch how you do it or something like that. So I thought I'd like finally get round to actually doing like a wave tutorial video rather than you just like watching me do it in like really fast-paced one. I kind of want to talk through a little bit like why I might do a certain thing and the certain steps that I might take for it, and just to so you know my thoughts basically. So I really hope that you guys enjoy this, and I would absolutely love it if some of you could like paint along with me at home, and then you can like send me in the paintings that you've done. I'll put in the description box my email so that you can send them to me, or you can just message me on Facebook or direct message me on Instagram or something like that with your painting. That would be fabulous. It would be so cool to like see what you guys have made and stuff. So yeah, let's crack on. So yeah, first of all, we just want to map out where everything's going to go. So I'm just going to mix a bit of, try and put it up so you can see, I'm just going to mix a bit of the ultramarine blue with a lot of white for the sky. So I'm just going to just basically sort of map out where I'm going to put stuff. You might need to use a lot more water at this layer as well, because it's the first paint going on the canvas, just to like spread it more easily. Okay, so that's sort of the basic sky in. Okay, so now we're going to use a bit of cerulean blue and probably just a dab of orange. Okay, we need a lot more blue for that. The orange colour carries quite strongly, so you only literally want a tiny dab. And we'll maybe add a bit of this blue in as well, just to bring it some darkness. Yeah, I quite like that colour. I mean, you don't have to use the same colours as me, just go with what you feel. And then it's up to you if you want to add a sand bit. I might just add a little bit of sand. I'm just going to use a dab of orange with a lot of white for the sand, because I don't want it to be too orangey. Just want it to sort of like blend in a bit more. Okay, so that's our first basic layer then. Now we know where everything's sort of going to go. So we just got to wait for that to dry. So I just want to talk a little bit about why I've added orange to the blue. So if you look out your window now, for instance, the further away the sort of scenery is, the more like greyed out it is. You know, it's things up close that are really vibrant in colour, and then further away, even though you think, you know, that's blue and that's blue, it's more sort of like a hazy blue. It's not so like bright in any face. So adding orange to the blue, it sort of just like calms down that tone and brings it so it kind of fades into the background a little bit more. And then what we're going to do up close we're going to add more of the vibrant blues, sort of like straight from the tube. Okay, so I think it's probably dry enough to like carry on now. I'm always a little bit impatient. I'm rubbish at drawing straight lines, so I'm just going to use some masking tape for the horizon. So you just want to lightly tap it on, and then we can paint the sea on top. Okay, so for the sea, for the sea in the background, I'm going to be using a bit more ultramarine here, dab of orange again, and cerulean blue. And then just paint it on top of the masking tape. And take it off, be very careful because it's got wet paint on. And there you have a straight horizon. Don't tell anyone that's how you do it. Okay, so I'm just going to add more paint here now, just to make this sea really come to life. Also, try not to be too scanty with your paint. I mean, for a painting this size, I'll probably use about a quarter of a tube of this, so I mean, if you don't use a lot of paint, sometimes it can look a little bit amateurish, so you don't want it to look like a printed canvas. You want to be able to see the paint strokes and things like that. Okay, so now we're going to add some more vibrant closer up paint that I was talking about. So we're going to get some cerulean blue, and we're just going to add in sort of strokes of it. Okay, and this is where I got the green in from as well. We're going to take some of this green, it's going to make like a minty colour. This is literally like my favourite colour of all time. So we kind of want that to be where the waves are hitting the shore, so out here we want this minty green colour. So to make this colour, I've just added a bit of these two colours together. Again, when it gets a little bit tough, just add a little bit of water just to make it a little bit more runny, but you don't want it to be watery. Okay, at this point what I like to do to the sky, because it looks a little bit plain at the minute, I just like to get some water on my brush and just mix it in the white and then just sort of scruffle it over. And then in between each layer we're going to keep doing that just to sort of build up clouds, so that's fine for now, just wash your brush again. Also, when it's sort of half dry, you now want to sort of blend in this horizon a little bit more. So just take your brush and sort of blend it across the top. That'll do for now. I think now, let's set out where the waves are going to go. Okay, so now I'm going to use ultramarine again, so I need to squeeze some more out the tube. This sort of colour again, the darker blue. Some of that. Again, let's add a little bit of orange this time, but because it's reflecting the sky, we don't mind it being a bit, you know. Okay, so I'm going to sort of map out where the waves are going to go. So, obviously the top of a wave is white, but the underneath tends to be darker than the rest of the sea because it's not reflecting the sky. So, we're just going to map out sort of underneath where the waves are going to go. So Just sort of added 3 lines there. Obviously they're going to get thinner as it goes on into the distance. And then the ones that come up closer, we're going to use more cerulean blue and more green in. Okay, so that's sort of mapped out where our waves are going to go. Oh yeah, we're probably going to add another layer underneath the waves first, because adding the top wave is my favourite part, so I tend to like, oh I just want to do that, because that's what makes it like come to life. But if you do it too soon, you sort of like lose the more real sort of feeling of it. So what I'm thinking we could do now though, instead of just wasting time, is add another whitewash to the sky. So wash your brush really well, because we don't want to get like green in the sky. And then just grab some of your white again like this and just scuffle it again. Scuffle is quite a good word, I think, to describe this process. Just gonna go over that horizon line again. Like that. You can even add like a little bit more thickness if you want to a certain area where the clouds are sort of forming. Sort of add it where it looks realistic. Then wash your brush really well again. When I'm doing oil painting, I tend to use like a lot of brushes for different colours, but with acrylic, because it dries so fast, you have to wash your brushes really well anyway, every single time you sort of use a colour, so I may as well just use the same one. Okay, so now you're going to need a palette knife. We're going to start adding some of the wash that comes up to the sand. So I'm using quite a big palette knife here. So, but anyone will do, just whatever you've got laying around. Okay, so can you see, I'm just going to zoom down a bit. Well, actually, I'm just going to lift this up a bit so you can see the wash more. Yeah, is that right? Okay, so let's get your palette knife and sort of like, I think for now we're just going to sort of, I'm going to go up close so you can see what I'm doing here. So just sort of get a little bit on the bottom of your palette knife. This, and then just sort of tab it around so you've got your whole area of the palette knife lightly covered like this. Okay, so now we've got that done, we're just going to sort of drag it along the bottom. You don't want to blend it too much because it picks up the teeth of the canvas and that sort of makes the effect cooler. And then just tap it on the bit where you tapped it on the palette. So you want it the effect of like washing up on the beach. So then you can do straight lines as well, because if you just do that and then just put it, instead of being flat to the canvas, you just go at an angle, so you just got the line against it. You can sort of create these lines of wash. And I quite like to do that on the sand as well. So you've got a very definite line. This makes it look quite realistic. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get a much smaller brush. Not this one though. Not that small. I'm going to get a smaller brush, so compared to the one we've been using, that's a size sort of difference there. So now I'm just going to make quite a dark blue, but with orange for the horizon, because I feel like I don't know, I don't feel like it's right, so I'm going to use a lot of blue, bit of orange, and probably a bit of white. Okay, so now still with this small brush, I'm going to add some more under the waves. So again, we want sort of the vibrant colours, so I'm going to get some ultramarine and cerulean blue. And I'm just going to pop that under the waves, so the bit where we've already got darker areas, we're going to add more. Okay, wash it well, and then obviously for the closer up ones we want more green in. Oh, I've run out of green. So we want some green and some cerulean blue. So if you say you've got, there's your sort of white bit, and now we're white bit of the wave, that is, and then currently we're doing underneath the wave, so we haven't yet got the wave there. So if you imagine that at the top of the wave it's quite dark, then it goes into the greeny bit, because that's where you sort of see through the wave, and then it goes into the blue again. So we've got our dark line here that we did with the blue and orange, and now we're just going to add some of this green that we've made just underneath it like this. Because that's what's going to make our wave look translucent. And then we can just add a little bit more just in places. We can even add some on the other one. Just mix it with a little bit more blue, and we can add some here. I think we're ready to start adding waves. Okay, so favourite part, get your palette knife, and again do that technique where we dab it on the paint and then dab it on the board just to get it surrounded on the palette knife. Now we have to work out exactly where the wave's going to go. So I'm thinking about putting a wave here. So you want to sort of get at the top and then just go along there, and you want to get more paint, just dab it again on your palette, and then you just want to bring it down. Like so. Now that paint wasn't completely dry, so it's gone on my palette knife a little bit, so I might just wait a little bit longer for it to dry. And I'm going to go make a coffee. Okay, so whilst my coffee is cooling down, let's add some more waves. Okay, so again, I'm going to do the palette knife technique. So I feel like we need to make some little waves here, lapping onto the shore. So with the palette knife, the more you press on, the more that paint that's going to go on. So we've got this solid block here, and as you can see, as it goes on, I've got lighter, and it's taken sort of the teeth of the canvas. Sort of we've pressed on harder here, and then as we've dragged it away, it's always going in a circular motion, I find as well. And then it's sort of got lighter and lighter as it's disappeared. So we've got this one here. I think I'm just going to add some sort of like splashes here. And again, this is one way you sort of just go with how you feel. You know, there's no need to fill in every area, but you want to sort of imagine being there and imagine what the sea's doing. Okay, so that wave's still drying, so let's sort of tackle one here then. I'm thinking here, because we don't want it to be too symmetrical. So if we come in from this angle, you know how sometimes you get your big wave and then you just get a little bit here? Let's just do a little bit there. Like that. Just to make it more realistic. I do this thing that I hold my breath when I'm doing this bit because you know it's like, so I don't know, it's just a bit scary because you don't want to ruin it, so I just hold my breath and I'm like okay, so let's do some of these top ones now. Let's just zoom you in again. And let's just do one behind it as well. So I want to add more wave on this one now because it's dried a bit better. So just sort of, again, in a circular motion, we just want to add more white. See, I've changed my mind about this one. I felt like it was added in too quickly, so I'm just gonna pop some water on it. And I'm gonna use my rag to sort of blend that in. So don't worry, you can always change things, especially with acrylics. And then see, it's taken off the paint here a bit, so we just need to add some of that paint back. Okay, so I want to add a bit more here, so we're just going to add some more sort of spray. Okay, so what else do you think needs doing, guys, to it? I feel like it's almost there. The only thing that I want to do is reflect the sky a bit more in it. So you see, like here, you've got a reflection of the sky in here. I want some more highlights on the sea. So I'm just going to make that sky colour again. So you just get some ultramarine and then white, a lot of white. Again, this is going to be with the palette knife because it's just good for picking up bits of the canvas. Okay, so once you've got that colour, just again do the tapping it trick, and I just want to sort of drag it along, just to give the illusion of it shimmering on the sky. And I'm going to put a bit in here too. Now I agree that's too much and it may look messy now, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for that to dry and then we're going to go over the top of it with the sea colour again. So it just sort of makes the layers build up more and makes it look more realistic, because there are a lot of layers to the sea. What we're going to do now is just make that sort of background colour again. So you want a dark blue and a tiny bit of orange. And probably just a bit of cerulean blue as well. And do the tap it trick again. And then we're just going to drag that along. I think it's finished. I feel like if I add any more, it will ruin it, so we're done! Apart from when you elbow it. We're done! That was close. So yeah, well done guys. Thank you so much for everyone that did that with me. It was so enjoyable. I really loved doing it with you guys because I felt like I had a friend with me, like doing it with me, so it was really good fun. And if you want any other kind of tutorials, then just let me know and I will make it for you. Thanks guys so much.